Hey guys, this is Nikki, and I have been having some great success organizing my non-linear mind lately. And I thought that I would share online because honestly, it makes life way more fun, the less existential crises you fall into whenever you try to figure out, do I do project A or project B, and what is the meaning of life anyway? I feel way more productive, way more confident, way less stressful, and way less of that internal conflict that I was just talking about. So if that sounds good to you, stick around for the magical system that I have put together for myself that I'm not just going to give you the steps to do, I'm also going to explain why each step matters for organizing your mind. Because what nobody tells you is that we're not born with an organized mind. We tend towards chaos and high entropy, and we need to be taught to give structure to our mind so that we can accomplish a goal. For me personally, productivity means pulling or drawing yourself forward by doing things and taking action. And when I say self, I mean your body and your mind, because we can think all day long, but we need to organize our mind to be able to get our body to do a thing. Time blocking is a really dumb thing that you might be struggling with because time is a human construct. Like things changing and quote unquote time passing is real, but there's nothing that's generally built into us that always says, hey, 15 minutes have passed. Now you need to move on to the next thing. So time blocking just doesn't work well for some of us. It's not something that's easily habituated in the body. And as a neurodivergent person, I find that picking up habits is really different for me than it is for like popular culture. Also, with time blocking, success is like you can be in a great flow mode and then you're supposed to stop and shift a task just because the time changed. If I do strict time blocking, if I pass over that center mark and don't shift tasks, I end up feeling really bad. And also, it's just hard to schedule for chaos with strict time blocking, in my opinion, anyway. So I threw all those rules out of the window. What I did keep is if you decide that you want to sit down to write or do your art or your work and coding at 9 a.m. every day, that's helpful for the mind. That is a kind of habituation that the body can do. That's a rhythm. Promoting mind, body, and soul balance is good. Like stop to eat lunch. Make sure you take that jog because you have to spend energy to get energy. That's how body works. And guessing how long a project's going to take is also a really useful thing to do. So those rules we're going to take, and these are the new ones we're going to add on. They might seem like a lot just because I'm laying them out very detailedly, but when you actually go to do the thing, it's really simple. Okay, so the new rules are that we need everything to be accounted for, because if you don't have everything written down that you need to do, it is your mind's job to remind you. And if you don't have everything written down that you need to do and it doesn't know when things are going to happen, your mind, especially if it knows that you're very forgetful, is going to stick you with, oh, no, thank you. It's going to get you caught with those inner conflicts saying, well, why are you doing this one? You should be doing that other task. And then you really get stuck thinking because there's no exit to take action. So we're going to lay out everything. We are also going to explicitly triage the impact of each step. When they're all written out in the really simple way that I do it, it makes it a lot easier when you're at the stage of deciding what goes first. It just takes out a lot of the guesswork. We are going to be committed people. When we learn to finish what we start, when we say that anything we start, we are finishing, it changes everything. Because then you can't get away anymore with being someone who starts 30 projects on a whim, because you know that if you start it, you have to be willing to finish it. It starts to shift your entire perspective on what projects we take on and which ones are just impulsive fancies that we can set aside for later or just totally forget about. We're also going to learn how to finish one project before we move on to the next project, because this also helps with that impulsive energy that we struggle with, especially as neurodivergent people, where we just get a burst of do energy that says, start this, do that. Oh, I've remembered about that thing. And that's not really helpful for us in terms of starting and finishing projects. So when we lay everything out very simply and our mind knows there's enough room for everything, it's a lot easier for it to remain structured throughout the week if it knows this is the one project that I'm working on right now. We're also going to underschedule, because this is what I was saying about earlier about emotions. If we say we're going to do 3 projects and we get 9 done, we feel really great. And if we say we're going to get 10 done but we only do 9, we feel like crap. And that really matters because that lets you know that the rules that we set for the game are the rules that decide whether or not our body has permission to feel good. It's like taking care of a small child. We need to be kind and we need to trust that actually the less we try to ask and force of ourselves, the easier it becomes to do things. And if we've never experienced this before, that's really hard. Next up for the new rules is balance. So if we're only going to commit to 3 projects a week, we're going to build momentum. So what I got, and this is just from AI, you can do whatever you want, is something that's high impact and low effort, then something that's under 3 or 4 hours, and then our big time intensive one. If we're not paying attention to this stuff, we can totally set ourselves up like this week, I'm going to do these 3 really important projects. And also they're all going to take 15 hours each. So this is actually going to be stressful because, they might go over time and then I might run out of time and then I feel bad. So we build a momentum that says, look, I can do the thing. I can do the thing. I'm excited to do this bigger project. Then whenever we have those new impulsive projects or one project we're doing leads to more side tasks, we write them on the bottom of the page for the next round or the next sprint. And then we get to feel excited about them because we know that when this first sprint gets done, we actually will make it to the second sprint and it feels good. So step 1 is writing everything down, what you're trying to start, what you've stalled on, what you're working on. This was me at the beginning. And then triage it by time. So I've put beside everything, I think it's going to take this many hours. And then also, this was the thing from AI, the impact that it's going to take. So what's going to help me with momentum or clarity or growth or income. And I write those down so that when I need to pick what to do, I can see, hey, I might not feel a lot of emotional excitement for making 7 new Fiverr gigs, but it might actually have a really big impact on all these different areas if I get it done. Then I rewrite everything by time so that the little things come first. These are the things that are really easy to fall off of the bandwagon because they're so small, but some of them are really important. And then we do a soft schedule. There is no hard start time or stop time. That is up to you. We are leaving tons of room for life to happen. I tried to go around 3 things per week. And this was great because it let me see that instead of thinking constantly about which one should I do, which one should I do, which one's more important, if I just did all of them in this very relaxed way, I'd be done in a month. That's not so bad. So that is what I did. And the results were really awesome. My real goal was to get 3 projects done. I had felt bad about adding these couple little things into them, but I ended up getting 9 done. That's my first 3 weeks worth of projects that I had to do, got done in 1 week. And if I had not made this schedule, that would not have happened. So I felt really great about it. I'm like, oh, all I have left to do is this stuff. Now I'm excited to do it because then I get to move forward again. And then these are just detailed notes about the fact that I felt less conflict. I felt more like life was about doing things to finish them and not about wondering which one's the most meaningful project of my life, which is what my head just does. And oddly, with that lower stress, because I was more organized inside, when my surroundings were not organized, it did not bother me as much. So it didn't matter if things were messy. And then I felt more that confidence, like it's okay if I write a book, even if it's sucky, just because I can do the book, just like I can do learning podcasting and learning YouTube. And it was really, really flexible. It made room for life. Like one morning, we went outside and there was a incoherent homeless woman, like literally picking up trash, thinking that they were signs and puzzles she needed to follow because she was so mentally disorganized that she was like looking for external meaning. We took a couple hours out of our morning to help her out and make sure she didn't wander off while I looked for someone I could call who could help her, which took way longer than it should have. But anyways, I didn't have to feel bad about that because I had enough room in my schedule that I could help her. I could do unexpected meetings. There was more room for all of that instead of feeling like that stuff is a bother. Like that's life. That's not a bother. You have to accommodate it. It will not ever accommodate you. And then I just took notes. Anyway, this is the structure that I made for myself, my little soft scheduling system. It felt way better than any other scheduling system I have made for myself so far. It was way easier to keep my mind organized. I was way more productive. And even when I wasn't doing things that were on that list, but it was just like personal home time, a lot more little things got done that before I would have just been stuck thinking about. If you try this system, I would love it if you would comment or send me a message and tell me about it, because what's really cool about life is getting to connect with other human beings. If you have any questions or any feedback or any suggestions, please leave those in the comments as well, because external feedback is important to keep us going. Okay, I hope that this was helpful for you. Have a good one.